Hi, thanks for watching. Andy here. Let's do a reading for the sign of Virgo. So I'm shuffling now and asking for a 3-card spread for the sign of Virgo. I'm doing this July 2019, but the best time to watch it is whenever you're drawn to watch it, friends. Well, one's fallen out already, so we've got that. Great. Okay, let's just keep going with that a minute. Okay, right, there we go. We've got through. I felt I needed to just keep going a little bit there. Right, so the first card out in this reading for you guys, Virgo, is this one, and it's the Four of Wands. This is a great card to get. Some say this indicates a wedding. Not necessarily, but it's looking really good in relationships when this card comes up. And it's the first card, actually, so it's a nice solid foundation. That number 4 gives it a squareness. And being a Wands card, it's about fire signs. So it's Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, people like that around you. And it may not be people who are those signs. It may be people who have those signs kind of rising. Everyone's got everything somewhere in their birth chart. A birth chart is just kind of the different degrees of influence that the different planets had. So look out for that fire sign energy. It's certainly about getting things moving though, and it's making progress, even though really she's sitting down quietly here and she's sitting pretty. Everything's looking good, even the cats are happy. It looks great, but I just know things are going to be keeping moving when we get the Wands card coming up. So we'll see where we go with that. And let's have a quick shuffle now, and I'm using messages from your animal spirit guides again. Seems popular, seems to go down well, and it's a fabulous deck to work with, it really is. So let's say, tell me more about the Four of Wands, please, in this reading for the sign of Virgo. Tell me more, please, about the Four of Wands. Okay, what have we here? Oh, they're quite hard to get hold of. That's my only problem with these cards. Right, do come here, for goodness sake. Got it, right. Tortoise. I'll get to it in a second. Just put these other ones out of the way. Tortoise, you're too fragmented. So do whatever it takes to get grounded. Now then, getting grounded is going to be really quite an important thing, because this is exactly what we were on about when it came to the thought of Alice sitting pretty and yet actually being surrounded by 4 wands, suggesting things are going to get moving, suggesting that as good as this situation is, she is actually going to want to and be able to go forward. Gosh, well, you never have to stop going forward. That's the great thing, you know. If you become really good at a thing, you can keep trying and become even better at it. No reason why not. That's the human condition. That's where inventions come from and everything. So, Tortoise, you're too fragmented. Do whatever it takes to get grounded. Well, that's really going to vary depending on who you are, isn't it? But is Alice fragmented? She looks as if she's really happy here. But does that happiness depend too much on something? Maybe that relationship, maybe the thought of that wedding even. Because for a thing like that to be good, even a happy thing like a wedding, you've got to think what's going to happen afterwards. You know, how are you going to get on afterwards? Where are you going with it afterwards? So this begs the question, where is your relationship going, Virgo? And I'm not telling you should kind of question things if you're happy with it, but this is worth thinking about, you know. Not really a case of questioning anything, because this is a very solid card. But what is actually stopping you from completely being at one and being yourself? It may be nothing to do with your relationship. Something, maybe work even, is stopping you from actually really getting the full picture, really having a handle on things. And when it says do whatever it takes to get grounded, well, easy to say that. Maybe it's not so easy to actually put it into practice and do it. But, well, you know, guys, what centers you, what grounds you, what makes you feel at one with yourselves and with the world. And that's the thing to look to. That's the way to go. Tortoise is moving very slowly as well. Could it be just going too fast? Because, going too fast can make things fragmented. If you imagine if you're in a vehicle, if you're on a bus or in a car or something, and the driver's just going really fast, you sort of feel the bumps a lot more than you would think you would, really, because everything's happening at a rate that the car or bus or whatever it is isn't actually designed to deal with, and doesn't have the springs to cope with. Have you got the springs to cope with how fast you're going? There's one way of putting it. Who knows? Who knows? Let's keep moving and find out more. And we'll find out more and more and more about this reading for Virgo in July 2019. The next card that came out there is number 9, and this is the Hermit. And this essentially is going to be the heart of the matter, Virgo. This is really, it's not exactly, the card we just had, the Four of Wands, is much more about where things are at. But in terms of kind of where have you come from and where are you going and how do you actually feel about things at the moment, this is the important card in this spread. It's number 9, and it's the Hermit. We know so much what the Hermit means. It's one of the most popular cards in the major arcana for people to have conversations about. I mean, they're all as popular as each other because you shuffle them, there's an even chance of different ones coming up. But major arcana energy, it is actually very close to. It's number 9. It's kind of 1 before the 10 of completion. And in terms of the energy and where it's actually driving us here, what needs to happen is taking stock and considering everything that you've actually got. This includes achievements that you've made, things that you've managed to make happen, things that you may not have found were all that helpful, things that maybe didn't work for you. It's a good time to release those things then. What no longer serves you. I guess it's always a good time to release those things, actually, but are we always aware of them? Not necessarily, and this is the other side of the Hermit, it's taking the time to be able to take stock of everything and to be able to really get a clear picture going on. You may need to be by yourself. This in relationship matters comes into excuse me, quick drink of tea. In relationship terms, in relationship terms, this card comes up quite often when someone, there's two people in a couple, and one of them's leaning on the other one to get the other one to do something that doesn't really sit well with the other one, and they can kind of badger that person. If you're on the wrong end of that, guys, just get right away from the badgering somehow, even if it takes something quite drastic, just to have a little bit of time away from the badgering, just a little respite. It's not always possible to do that, but it's going to be possible in the fullness of time, so do work towards that if it's not possible already. But quiet time, vitally important, and sooner or later we all go to sleep, so maybe you could kind of pray that that's going to come into your dreams and you're going to get some inspiration along the way with that. Because there are things in this situation that don't entirely suit you. It's a very happy situation, it really is, but there's something there that doesn't sit right, something there that doesn't quite work, and really to be happy with a long-term relationship, you've got to feel like it's going to be good long-term, not be in a situation where you're thinking, well, is this twin flame actually a twin flame, or are we just kind of two very similar flames that are going to end up going in different directions? All needs thinking about. Anyway, tell us more, please, about number 9, the Hermit, in this reading for the sign of Virgo, which I'm doing in July 2019. The best time to watch it is right now, when you've been drawn to watch it, friends. And that's what I say. By the way, lots of videos on my channel. If you care to subscribe and tap the bell, you'll get made aware of everything new that's coming up. And if you take a look at my channel, there's kind of about 400 other videos on there at the moment. So it ought to keep you busy for a while. It's kept me busy for a few years, I can tell you. And it's been worth every minute of it. Right, tell us more about the Hermit in this reading for the sign of Virgo, please. And what have we? The Humpback Whale. Music is essential to your healing and well-being, whether singing, playing an instrument, or listening. Now, that is a real important thing. Listening to music has a great value. It is a wonderful thing to be able to play an instrument. I'm blessed with that ability myself. I play classical organ. I've had a brush with the guitar and various instruments, and I find I can play instruments, and I'm very lucky that way. Maybe you don't feel so lucky, but honestly, if you try, you'd be surprised. Many people who can't play an instrument actually could, but some teacher, or maybe just fear of the celebrity culture we've got now, fear that you're just not as good as the best kind of musician, so why even bother trying? But one way or another, many people are actually discouraged and feel they could never play an instrument when in fact they could. Musical instruments are designed, for human fingers. They were all made by someone who'd never played one before. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been a new invention, would it? So everything's been invented that way, and you can have, probably what you can have is what you feel you can't have in this reading, in that situation that I'm actually talking about here. And this is, it's what the Hermit is all about. Because taking notice, actually listening, which is as valuable as playing a thing. It's just right. It's a different way of getting something out of music. There's nothing wrong with it. It's not better. It's not worse. It's just different. Taking the time to, as you're going over these things and working out what no longer suits you, taking the time to see what's kind of it sits nice and musically with you and doesn't have discord. I just cannot find the words to describe what I'm trying to talk about there, but I think you know what I mean, guys. Just good music, it works, doesn't it? It slides over you. Everything kind of works with it. That's what makes it a pleasure to listen to. That's why people will kind of buy music, basically, and certainly why they'll listen to it. And it is a healing thing, It's another kind of vibration. We are quite well aware of how colour vibration helps with healing. I'm sure we're aware that sound vibration works with healing as well. But we can go back to some incredibly ancient cultures and find the most amazing kind of old buildings and domes and underground structures that were made to resonate in a particular way and produce a particular frequency. So you can learn a lot through music, whether you're making it or listening to it. Okay, let's get on then to the next card and say let's have the final card, please, in this reading, which I'm doing for the sign of Virgo in July 2019, and we have the Queen of Cups. Here she is. Now then, the Queen of Cups comes up, and there really is something important to focus on when this comes up, because the Queen of Cups, she's very keen on relationships and affairs of the heart, actually, but she's also a very realistic person, and this is about actually making it real. And this is why, just like with the Hermit card, and just as we saw hinted at, with the Four of Wands there, this is where we start to see the fine details of things which need to be in shape, because eventually, if a good relationship works, if a person is really a true partner at soulmate level, or if this isn't about that for you, and it's, different strokes for different folks all the way with these readings, if something isn't suiting, the Queen of Cups here, she can see a world in a grain of sand, and that's the level you really want to go down to if you're going to decide anything. But she's not so much about decisions, the Queen of Cups. She's more about longings and desires. So it's really more about kind of where is your true north in terms of where do you actually want to go in life and what would you like to see change. Okay, then let's do a final oracle card to get some more significance and say, tell us more about the Queen of Cups in this reading for the sign of Virgo, which we're doing in July 2019, and the best time to watch it is right now. Here we go, and it's Blue Heron. Make a stand for what you believe in and do what feels right, in spite of any judgment or disapproval from others. Now, really, really important to be yourself, and now I'm seeing the whole meaning of this spread, really. Alice is very much in her element here, looks very much like she's being herself, but is her heart kind of dependent too much on someone that she isn't entirely comfortable with, isn't entirely happy about? Well, she's got to go right into herself and think about that. And look, Virgo, the chance is there to do that. She's by herself there. She's got the cats, but they're not going to interrupt her. They'll just send good vibrations. So all kinds of good things are possible, particularly because we've got the Queen of Cups as an outcome, and that really says, almost says make a wish. It's not that same card, but that's pretty much what it says. So, make a wish. Don't take any nonsense from anybody, but do take some time out and think about just what you do want in your life and what you don't want in your life. Meanwhile, guys, thanks ever so much for watching. I'll be back soon. Give me a subscribe, tap the bell, thumbs up if you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you soon. Peace.